I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, and I'm excited today to talk about one of YSL's new eyeshadow palettes, and it is specifically the palette, if I can open this up, Unexplored Garden. So this is it. You know, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know I love green, so this should not be a shocker that I purchased this palette. And I've been buying a lot of like these olive green palettes lately. I just feel like that's been a popular color this season, not specifically YSL, but some other brands. And so, yeah, actually at the end of this video, I'll also just go over a couple of the other olive green palettes that I've gotten this year and let you know, is this my new favorite olive green? Am I planning to get a couple others that have come out this year? But yeah, let's focus on specifically the new YSL palette. Now, I think they've come out with a couple of different stories, but this is just the one that in particular I was, you know, really attracted to. And it's been hard to get. You know, it's been going in and out of stock. I ended up getting it from Nordstrom, but even when I did, like I said, it was like 1 week it's not there, and then I grabbed it, and as soon as I got it, it was gone again. I was looking now, like even on the YSL website and Nordstrom, and I didn't see it. I hope I'm not too late with this video. I'm not sure if this was just limited edition or what's going on. I hope it comes back in stock. But I'm still going to post this video in the case this palette does come back in stock, to give you a heads up of what I think of the palette if you're thinking about getting it. So I hope I'm not too late. But yeah, let's talk about this palette. Now, as per usual, when I come out with my reviews, I usually like to, you know, ahead of time, do at least a couple looks prior, which I do post on Instagram, and then I come back later to give you my final conclusion. So this is not my first time using the palette. On my Instagram, I had already posted 3 looks. Today's look is, I'm essentially recreating the initial look that I had posted on Instagram. And it's one where I made sure to use all 4 shades. This is just a close-up of the eye look. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now at the moment because I will show you a demo video of how I created this look. So this look that I had shown on Instagram, you're going to essentially see how I created it through the demo video. But I did want to just quickly go over the 2 other looks that I posted on Instagram, and explain how I did those looks. So I'll be, you know, I might be looking down at my phone as I describe these 2 looks. So unlike this look where I use all 4 shades, for these next 2 looks, I only use 2 or 3 shades. So for this look that you should be seeing on the screen, I use 3 of the shades. And the big deal with this particular look is that I skipped out on this green shimmer. So I only use these 3 shades. You know, the big thing I wanted to do with this particular look, unlike a lot of my other looks where I use these both mattes in my transition, for you to fully appreciate this this shade, for that look, I put this all over the lid because that's where it's going to pop up the most on my skin tone. So I just wanted to see the versatility of that shade. You know, always using this one in my transition. But for that look, this was all over the lid. And then in the inner corner, I just use this shade. And as you can see, in the pan, it looks white, but the shimmer actually comes off green, same as you see here today. And don't worry, swatches are coming. And for my other look, I even simplified things even more because I only used the bottom 2 shades. So then I wanted to, in my transition, not to use a shade like I was using. I might have first set with a brown tone shadow. I think it was actually, it wasn't even a real eyeshadow. I had a little bit of a brown setting powder from face powder from Hourglass. So honestly, the only real shadow that was in my transition was this shade, so you could fully see this color on its own. And then all over the lid and in the corner, I used this green shade. So I completely forego that. So just so you could also see that you could do a look with all 4, you could do a look with 3 shades, you could do a look with 2 shades, and you can still create a pretty look. But once again, I did want you to see all 4 shades in action. So watch this demo video so you can see how this eye look came together. All right, so I'm going to be doing a look with the new YSL Unexplored Garden. I have used this several times before, but it'll be my first time to do it here on camera. I'm going to recreate a look that I've done before, but on camera this time with you guys. So let's get started. So I went ahead, added, mascara, liner, and everything like that. So this is the final look. I'll get a little bit closer. All right, so yeah, this is the final look. Love it. So yeah, let's get together and talk about it. Okay, I hope you found that demo video helpful. So let's do some quick swatches of these shadows. I'm gonna take out the little brushes that I never use from the palette. I'm gonna swatch these for you. I'm going to tell you what I think about this palette. I'm also going to tell you where I rank these amongst the other YSL palettes that I own and the other olive green palettes that I bought this year. But let's start with swatches. So I'm going to start with this shade first. So against my skin tone, this would be the quote-unquote scariest shade, where we worry about it being ashy. I've been using it in my transition, and it doesn't look crazy on me. Obviously I can't get away with just this in my transition alone. I need the green matte as well, but in combination with the green it works. And then what it does look also nice on my skin tone is putting this on my lid. So it still works. All right, and then you have this shade which looks like it's white, and it's more of like a topper slash shimmer, but as you can see, it's actually a green. It's not white. And so this shade, you can use it like I did as a topper, like I did on top of the green shimmer, or on its own. It works as well, and I love to use it on my inner corner. So I do like it that it's soft like a topper, but it can still stand on its own. This shade is, is what grounds the whole look. So this green matte is what really grounds the whole look. And so this is a great shade, and it shows up nicely on my skin tone. And then we have this beautiful green shimmer. And so I love to put this on the lid or even in the inner corner. This works on its own. This looks good in combination together. So I like all the shades. You got these beautiful green tone shadows, and even this one that can be kind of scary. It's not. Like I said, using my transition along with the green, it brings a coolness to the look. It looks beautiful on the lid. So I still find I can make that shadow work for my skin tone, and I I actually really like it. I like the YSL formula in general. If you've never used the YSL, it is so soft, and I'm not saying it's not pigmented, but the texture of the shadows are very soft. They blend beautifully and easily, so it's a very easy palette to use. But they do show up, so it's not like these colors are not pigmented. They are, but they do give a soft kind of a softness to the finish. So if you could tell, I like it. I really like the palette. I really do. Now, at this point, I own 3 YSL, so obviously got this one. And these are the other 2 that I own. I did a video of this palette earlier in the year. This definitely was limited edition, came out for Valentine's Day, so I don't think this is available anymore, but if you're curious, this is what it looked like. This is my least favorite YSL palette. These particular shades do not show up that well on me. I mean, this one can just show up, but these shadows, I'm not gonna bother to swatch it. You can watch my previous video. And like I said, at this point, if you don't already own it, I don't think it's available. But just trust me, on my skin tone, these barely show up on me. Obviously I bought it because I just love the packaging and I had a gift card. So for me, it didn't cost me anything, but if I had to pay out of my own pocket, oh, I would have been really upset, I think. The first YSL palette that I ever got, it's an OG one, but sometimes it's not always available. Like, I don't know if this was considered limited edition. Obviously I love blues and greens. So I got this palette and I do like this palette. It's such a fun palette. Now between the 2, I would just give the nod to this one because this one is a more quote-unquote wearable. So I do see myself using this a lot more. But I do really like this palette and I have a video for this one. I'm just gonna swatch the green one just for fun because, you know, just to see how this green compares. But I won't bother to do the blue and the black. All right, so let's just see how this one compares. I'm just gonna do another swatch. I just wanna what I would say, you know, maybe this is slightly more minty, where these are more olive. I particularly love the green tone of the newer one. So yeah, this is totally my favorite. Now there are a lot of other YSL palettes. You know, I would say I probably picked the more colorful ones. A lot of the other YSLs would be quote unquote boring. They do a lot of like neutral kind of tone. But with that being said, I might go back and get one of those original ones because they do look really pretty and I do like the formula. But I think this is nice because this is like neutral with a pop of color. So if you find that the other YSL palettes are just too neutral, this is a great in-between where it's not super bold like this, but definitely more pigmented than this palette. So I say yes, if you're able to get it, grab it. And don't wait because I swear it'll come in stock and then literally the next day it's gone. And then you won't see it for like a week or weeks. So, you know, I'm praying that it comes back, but if it comes back in stock, honestly, and I'm being very serious, I don't like to like bait people into like, oh my God, you gotta buy it, but I don't know what's going on, but like, this doesn't just stay in stock like the other YSL palettes for some strange reason. Lastly, I just wanted to end this video just talking about something I kind of noticed that like lately, the palettes that I've been noticing coming out, one color story that I've been kind of noticing it's been popping up has been olive green, which I'm not mad about because I love green. I love olive green, so it's a color tone that I like. But it is interesting, I'm seeing that a lot. It started at the beginning of the year, like for winter, spring, and now summer, fall. Like, it's kind of interesting that all these brands have been doing a lot of olive green. Now, I have 2 other palettes that I bought earlier that are olive green. So I'll let you know how I think the YSL compares to these two. Now there are two other palettes that have recently come out that I've thought about getting, but I've held back because now I've gotten these 3 olive palettes. I don't know if I need another one or two, but just on a side, there's one from Guerlain. I do like Guerlain's shadows. They're very impactful. So that one has been very tempting. And then Natasha Denona just came out with a new mini palette, and those are some fun colors. And I'm tempted by that. But I do own other Natasha Denona palettes that does incorporate some of these tones, and with these ones I newly bought, I'm trying to resist getting those, although they look really good. But let's talk about the 2 palettes that I do already own. Let's first start with the one I more recently got, and it is from Lisa Eldridge, Desert Glam. And I'm not sure if this is limited edition or not, but you can see how similar these palettes are. I think these have like the most similar kind of color stories out of them all. Now this only has 4 and this has 6, but you can definitely see some similarities. What I want to do though is I want to swatch the green matte in here. They both have a very soft texture to them, but I hope you can appreciate this. I prefer the YSL because, as you can see, this one is deeper. And so this does show up on me. It does. It really does. But this obviously is deeper, has more depth to it. So I do prefer the YSL more. It would be interesting for me, I have to try, is maybe doing a look with the 2 of them. You know, maybe first starting with this in the transition, then maybe putting this to give some more depth. So that would be interesting to do. This light shade, so both of them have, you know, a shade that can be kind of light on my skin tone. And let me actually put it over here. Now you might think I would prefer maybe the Lisa Eldridge because maybe it looks a little bit deeper. The only thing about this is this looks like nothing on me. When I use it, it completely disappears. Which, great, it doesn't look ashy, but it does nothing for me and my skin tone. Where at least this pops against my skin tone. And I actually don't mind it in the transition when I use it along this shade. But even if I don't use it in the transition, I love this on my lid. It really does pop. So I will give that. The shimmers are going to be kind of different. Let me do this one. Now, the Lisa Eldridge shimmers are great. So I will say, like, they're really impactful. So I won't bother to do the others because they're more gold and bronzy. So that's the closest I would say. So I can give the nod to Lisa Eldridge for this shimmer because this is a great shimmer. But I actually prefer the mattes in the YSL. I prefer just the formula itself. I think they blend better. I think, like I said, and I do like the tones of those better. So between the 2, I have a feeling that I'll be using the YSL more. But I'll be interested to actually maybe try some looks where I combine the 2 and see what I can come together because they are so complementary. And lastly, I just want to compare it to the Tom Ford. I bought this at the beginning, I think January, like the beginning of the year, and it's called Olive Smoke. So once again, so quad versus quad. Let me take off the plastic because the shininess of that is a little bit distracting. So yeah, come on. Oh. Come on, stay open. So somewhat similar. You got the olives, you got, you know, some of those neutral tones. It just, you know, this one has the black in here. So that's definitely something distinctive of the 2 color stories. But the other big thing is the formulas are totally different. But let me swatch 3 of the shades in here. I'm not going to bother doing the black because clearly that's not going to be worth it. But let me swatch the other 3 shadows from the Tom Ford. Start with the green, my favorite shade from the Tom Fords. I don't know. Let's just put it here. So look at that. For those who I'm going for the bronzy one next. For those who've been watching me, this was in my faves for the 6-month faves. Ugh. And just watching this, I'm being reminded why I love this palette so much. Okay, I'm gonna have to squeeze them in. All right, so I mean, it's tough to compare these just because, as you can tell, the formulas are so different. You know, these are straight powder. These are cream to powder. They are smooth. They have a shine to them. I hate to compare them because even though the color stories are similar, the formulas are so different. And I love them both. And I think it's just more if I'm more in the mood for a more softer, diffuse look like this. And the sparkle in the YSL is very pretty, so I do like it. But if I'm in the mood for doing a more high shine, then I would go for the Tom Ford. And the one thing I do like about the Tom Ford, one of my favorite things to do with the Tom Ford is actually I would frequently just use, I'm normally not a one and done girl, but this is one palette that one and done looks gorgeous with this green. That can just do one and done and it smokes itself out. And so that is something unique. So where I definitely, I think I would say that I like the YSL over the Lisa Eldridge. I won't say I prefer one or the other with Tom Ford versus YSL at this point. I just think they're both beautiful and different in their own ways. And actually, thinking about it, this is another one where I'd love to actually try. I got to do some looks where I do the two together. Because what I think would be cool is to use the mattes for the YSL along with like these shadows on my lid from Tom Ford. And I think that would be an amazing combo. So I'm actually would be excited to use these together. So yeah, so I hope you found this helpful in terms of deciding should you get the YSL, the new YSL Unexplored Garden palette, if it please comes back in stock, and how do I feel about it in comparison to other YSL palettes and other olive tone palettes that have come this year. But we have now come to the conclusion of this video. So if you made it this far and you aren't already subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing to my channel. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram, Daps_makeup, then please do, because that's where I tend to be the most active. And you can see eye looks before I even make my final reviews. That's a place to go to see looks and swatches and everything ahead of time. But otherwise, I'm just gonna wish you guys a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you next time when I show the next items that have come into my collection. But until then, bye!